Hi, I'm James Kyllonen, founder of Kyllonen Luxury, and today we're going to talk about the difference between the different types of pearls, how you can identify them, and what exactly is the difference. So let's get started. So first, what we should need to establish is the difference between cultured pearls versus natural pearls. And by natural pearls, really what we mean is wild pearls, because both are natural. They form in oysters or mussels. And so really what we mean is a cultured pearl essentially has this bead that goes inside, which is the nucleus. And so a cultured pearl, we take that nucleus and we stick it inside the oyster to help start the pearling process. The difference is, like wild pearls, is you kind of have to get lucky. We have divers who dive into the ocean and they search for these oysters. They pull them up and they check. But to be honest, it's about 1 in every 100,000 you're going to get, a decent pearl out of there. So now that industry basically has cultured pearls, which makes up over 90% of the market today. If you're going to buy pearls, they're going to be cultured pearls. That's just how it works. Unless you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a very fine wild pearl necklace. But generally, it's going to be a cultured pearl. So next, what we're going to talk about is freshwater pearls. So freshwater pearls are obviously from fresh water rather than the sea. So they grow in mussels rather than in oysters. And if you can see here, these will be our freshwater pearls. And so your freshwater pearls come in a multitude of colors. Generally, we have like whites, we have purples, you can kind of bluish greens, you can have kind of orangish champagne colors. But, like I said, a lot of them, what you get for freshwater pearls are usually whites and in pinks. And these pearls are generally around, you can get around 3 mm like these pearls, and they can go up to usually like 11 mm. This one actually goes to 10 mm. However, if you want a slightly larger freshwater pearl, then we have the Edison pearl. And so Edison pearls, like freshwater pearls, they're both a little bit not perfectly round and usually not quite as shiny as some of the sea pearls. However, Edison's, I feel, are a little bit more shiny, and the difference is these freshwater pearls actually do have the nucleus inside. So they're kind of a special form of freshwater pearl. So your Edison pearls, if you notice, have a deep color. These are a deep purple, which is one of the most popular colors for your Edison pearls are a deep purple. And they're a little bit more round, though, than your freshwater pearls. I feel they're not quite as high quality or round as some of the other sea pearls. However, some of the colors and the quality is really special. So some of these also command really high prices and are quite fantastic. And both of these pearls are generally going to come from China. That's the general location these usually come from. The next one we have is Akoya Pearls. So here is our Akoya Pearls, and you can see the colors are not quite the same as your freshwater pearls. The color for Akoya Pearls is generally going to be white. You also have yellows, and then you have kind of bluish silver colors, which these bluish silver ones are really special and command a little bit of a premium price because they're a little bit more rare. But the other thing is with Akoya Pearls, Akoya pearls are usually perfectly round, and in my opinion, out of all the pearls, they generally, on average, have the highest luster, especially if you go to the high-end ones. They have really tremendous mirror-like luster, which you can see all the details in your face. They're really gorgeous, and the size, though, will be a little bit smaller than a lot of your other pearls, where like your Edisons will be roughly 10 mm up to 16 mm. Your Akoya pearls are going to be generally 3 mm to 10 mm. Anything over 10 mm will be super rare for an Akoya pearl. It's just really not that common. However, you occasionally get some 10 mm's, and we actually have a very special strand, which is an 11 to 12 mm Akoya, which is very rare, especially if you know anything about Akoya pearls. These pearls are your classic pearls. So if you see celebrities wearing Akoya pearls, or if you see them wearing pearls, it's probably going to be Akoya pearls, because this one out of all the pearls has the longest history for cultured pearls. The next one we have is your Tahitian black pearls, which are these right here. And if you notice, they are not black, And one of the most popular colors for them is actually these like greens or peacocks, and those are traditionally a little bit more expensive, and it's really what you want is these green colors, really intense color. For all of them, the stronger the color, the higher the quality, generally the more expensive as well. And this strain here, you can see there's a multitude of colors, which generally you have greens, blues, you have some purples, occasionally you have a little bit more of pistachio, you can get gray, and of course you can obviously get black for black pearls. And your black pearls are going to generally range from 8 mm up until like 16 mm, and rarely you can get a little bit above that, but generally around 16 mm is the top end for these. There are some special pearl sellers now, pearl farmers that are now doing some baby pearls for the black pearls that come in like 5 mm, 6 mm, 7 mm. These are rare and kind of new, and they're quite special. I quite like them. But generally you're going to be in the 8 to 16 range for your black pearls. Then next over here, what you have is your South Sea white pearls. So your South Sea white pearls are going to be quite large. For South Sea whites, you're going to range from 9 mm, sometimes 8 mm, up into 20 mm. The reason these pearls are much larger is because the oyster they grow in is also much larger. So the size of the actual oyster or mussel kind of dictates the overall ability for the pearl to grow into larger sizes. So that's the same is true for the South Sea golds. The South Sea whites also have a good tradition of growing like the Akoyas, which are traditionally Australian. And they can actually get into a silver color as well, which I think is wonderful. The silver colors, the white colors are also beautiful. And I think you can't go wrong with South Sea whites, especially if you like the look of like an Akoya pearl or, you know, things like that, but you want a bigger size, then South Sea is going to be more of what you're going for. And what we have over here is your South Sea gold. So your South Sea gold is roughly the same type of oyster as your South Sea white, except for this one's going to be kind of gold-lipped. And so that's where a lot of this color comes from, is the edge or lip of the oyster has color. So these will also be around the same size. Generally, they're going to be 9 mm up to, you know, 18, 20 mm. And they also have some, now they're doing gold pearls in some baby sizes, like 6 mm, 7 mm, 8 mm, which we carry some of those as well at Kyllonen Luxury. But generally, you're going to be in the 9 to 16 range. That's the most common. And even really 13 and under is the most common for these. However, one of the big differences between the gold pearls and the white pearls is the gold pearls come into different levels of color. And so the color difference for gold pearls makes a large difference in the price. And the reason is because they're much more rare. So for your gold pearls, you can get down to like a light yellow, or like we call it light gold. And then after light gold, we have champagne. Then after champagne gold, we have just gold, which if you look at this strand here, this is a gold strand. For some suppliers, they might even call this dark gold. For us, this is just gold because we source our gold pearls from the Philippines, which gets really nice, rich, dark gold colors, so you can get the high quality pearls. One step above this one would be a fancy gold, which is quite dark, darker than most people's gold. And then we even have one step above that, which we call superior gold. Now, superior gold is going to be very rare, and it's going to be quite a premium for those pearls. But they're really special. It's a nice, deep, rich gold that's quite lovely, and that's a big factor for these pearls. The one thing you need to worry about for some gold pearls is occasionally on the market you'll get some people who try to dye pearls a darker gold, which there's ways to tell, which we'll talk about in another video, specifically about pearl colors, which I can link in the description. And on the pearl colors, you don't want to buy dyed pearls, and that's for all the pearls. It's most common, I would say, with gold pearl and a little bit with freshwater pearls. If they say they're black pearls and they're freshwater, you know, it's going to be dyed because there are no black freshwater pearls. One other thing I want to talk about is there's a few other types of pearls that I want to talk about which aren't actually pearls, but they're in the pearl family, and they're still grown in mollusks, so we usually lump it in with pearls. We usually give them the name of pearls, just on a technical basis. They're not technically pearls because of the location and how they grow. So the first one we have is Mabe. So right here what we have is a Mabe pearl. And so your Mabe pearl, as you can see, is actually a half pearl. And the reason it's a half pearl is because Mabe pearls grow on the shell of the oyster rather than growing inside the oyster. And this one, basically what they do is they kind of glue a piece of material to the shell, and then the shell kind of forms around it, and then they can cut it off, and then they kind of fill the back so it's not empty. And that's how you get a Mabe pearl. Mabe pearls are actually the first type of cultured pearl in Japan over 100 years ago. That was the first techniques that we had. And they're still here today, and they still have some, mostly Japan and some in China that are produced. Now, another one that we can talk about is the Conch pearl. And so if you can see, this right here is a conch pearl. And this is actually a really beautiful one. Generally for these, you also have a color scale, and so different colors is really going to affect price. And just like all the other pearls, what you essentially want with these is deep saturation, and you have different color pinks for them as well. So if you see this one at the top is a little bit white and kind of turns a little bit more pink. For me, I think this actually helps the beauty of the pearl, even though it's not a pure pink. And generally, I think this one is beautiful though, and this one is quite large. This is about 7.6 carats. So that's quite large for a conch, and they're a little bit expensive. And the reason is that if you notice, these pearls here are measured by versus your conchs are done by carats. And one of the reasons for that, and how you can tell the difference between your cultured versus your natural pearls, is your natural pearls are going to be done in carats. So your conch pearls are actually going to be a form of natural pearl, but again, it's not technically a pearl, but we call it a conch pearl. But so these ones generally will command a higher price overall than a lot of the other ones. So now we went through all the different types of pearls, so now you should have good knowledge of all the different types of pearls. And there's a few other pearls that we didn't really talk about, but generally these are going to be your top ones. The only other one I'd probably mention is the Sea of Cortez pearl, which is quite rare, beautiful, and sometimes called the rainbow pearl, which grows in Mexico. So it's a lovely pearl, but generally they're not that many are really sold in the market. It's not that common. These are the most common types of pearls you'll see on the market. And with that knowledge, it should be helpful for you when you're buying, because each of these pearls will also have a different price range. And we'll also be able to teach you about price range in a different video. So with that knowledge, I think you're ready to go out and buy your pearls. I'm James Kyllonen with Kyllonen Luxury.